another Polo GTI.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new video. Now today you joined me for another car review, and I just thought I should get back to the Golf 8 GTI because I haven't really gelled with it. So I want to take another opportunity to drive it, to experience it, and see what it's all about and make a final conclusion about this car, especially because lately I've been driving the Hyundai I30N a lot. I've been driving the AW Polo GTI a lot. Stay tuned, there will be a comparison video next between this and the Polo GTI. But yeah, I really do hope you guys enjoy this video. Do also excuse all the noise around, and let's get into it. So the exterior on the Mark 8 Golf GTI, I think this is a clean looking thing, very neat, very smart and very stylish. Up front you have the brow that extends all the way to the side of the car with the IQ lights that can do all sorts of clever things on the road while you're driving. The lower section bumper with the honeycomb effect, and of course the red stripe GTI that goes across the entire front into the headlights. The GTI badging in red as well, and this gray color, I have to say, beautiful, absolutely stunning. Now this one has the optional 19-inch rims, which are diamond cut, two-tone, gloss black with silver, red brake calipers, and most GTI have this little side GTI badge. And on the side, it's clean, no fussy lines, nothing too crazy. At the back you have a subtle spoiler, and I love this shark fin antenna. Yeah, at the rear again, the tail lights, IQ light badging, LED tail lights, and you have the two exhaust tailpipes, a GTI badge that sits in the center, and yeah, a smart, beautiful looking exterior. When they came out, they were a bit controversial. People didn't really like the looks, but I think now most people do like it. Let's check out the interior. So inside the Golf 8 GTI, I'll start with the seats. You have these two-part seats with the integrated headrest, and I love all the mixture of colors, the grayish, whitish, the red with the red piping and stitching. The seats are totally perforated, they're heated and cooled, and I'm not really sure if that's an optional extra. And take note, these were the very early cars, so the 2022 models. I see now with the later models, 2023 and 2024, they've started putting a GTI badge on the backrest. But inside here, it's nice, it's cool, it feels a lot like a spaceship with all these displays, and yeah, I do quite like it. The infotainment screen is the smaller option. You see that with the two knobs. If you get the bigger infotainment screen, there are no knobs at all, and everything is controlled through the screen. You have the very cool ambient lighting, and you can change to all sorts of different colors. There is like a lot of color options, your reds, your blues, your purples, your yellows, and yeah, I feel like red works really well in this car because red is a very GTI-esque theme color sort of thing going on. And below the infotainment screen, you have a couple of shortcut buttons that lead you straight into some specific menus. The climate controls, if you click that, it will take you straight to the climate controls, and it does look a bit complicated. It'll take some getting used to figure out all the menus and how to navigate the whole thing. And also things like the traction control system, you have to cycle through a couple of menus to activate and deactivate it, or you can put it on as a shortcut key. It is a bit complex, but it shouldn't take all too long to get used to it. The instrument cluster, beautiful, resolution is high like on the infotainment screen, and I love how you can cycle through so many information menus here and and it's just phenomenal. You can mix up stuff. You can have a power gauge, G meter, torque gauge. You can see your media information, a whole map, and it's beautiful what they've managed to do with this. There's also a lap timer, your speed, audio. They've went all out with the infotainment screen and the instrument cluster, and it's just cool. You can cycle through different views. You can have a big rev counter in the center. You can have the traditional look of a speedo and a rev counter. You can have a more minimalistic view, and it's beautiful. And when you change the ambient lighting, it also changes the colors on the instrument cluster. The steering wheel, it's nice and beautiful with the haptic buttons, backlit as well. People have complained that they are not user friendly, particularly when you're driving. You can accidentally touch the buttons. I think it's a bit of a fuss. I think they work pretty well. I don't have any issues with them, but I see VW is going back to more traditional buttons, and I have to say, I think the traditional buttons don't look as beautiful as these touch capacitive buttons. There's a little GTI badge on the bottom spoke, some red flashing. The steering wheel itself is flat bottom. There is perforated grip points, and overall, in terms of quality is good in here. Some areas do have some hard plastic, particularly the lower areas, also on the center consoles, but higher up it's relatively soft, and also on the top of the dashboard. I quite like how the dashboard is layered. It makes it look very interesting. It feels relatively premium in here. You can spec things like Harman Kardon, safety systems when driving, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring. It's all available, but most of that stuff is optional extra. And I quite like this touch sensitive controls for the sunroof, which is quite cool. I think I'll leave it off there with the cockpit, and we can check out the room and the back seat. So back seat, as you can see, these front seats are very bulky, so they do eat up some room, but the backrest is curved in a bit, so that helps in giving you a bit more knee room. Leg room is also quite good. I can have some space to stretch my feet, and the transmission tunnel is a bit big, so it makes it a bit difficult to move in between either side, and for one person to seat in the middle, it will be a bit awkward. Now there's rear climate vents that are also touch sensitive. There's 2 USB-C ports. You have a center armrest where you find integrated cup holders that are not covered. Remember the previous video with the X5, cup holders are covered. VW has to learn a thing or two. You have through loading where you can let in longer items into the rear. And yeah, that's pretty much your lot. The seats are still nice, two-tone and all. So the boot on the Golf 8 GTI, 380 liters in boot capacity, and as you can see, it's really big. There is close to no loading lip. There is an underfloor where you find a spare wheel, and the space down here is quite a lot, so you can throw in some more stuff down there. There's 2 pockets on either side where you can chuck in some extra stuff, and as you can see, the boot is nice and premium. There's also some tie down points if you need to secure some luggage back here, and as you can see, a very nice big practical boot. Okay, so let's break down the pricing and value. Now these started rolling out in 2022, and for the earlier 22 models, pricing, if the car is relatively high mileage, I've seen cars with like 60,000 kilometers, they go for around 650,000 rands. Now the later cars, which are brand new 2024, fetch anywhere from 850,000 rands all the way up to $1 million. And please do not buy a Golf GTI for $1 million. It's just not worth it. You can either get one of these earlier ones with relatively low mileage, 2023 ones with around that go for around 700k, but $1 million, please do not go for it. And yeah, that's pretty much the pricing currently on these. So let's get technical. Now we'll start with the engine. You're looking at the infamous E888. It's a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, in this case making 180 kilowatts, which is around 245 horsepower and 380 newton meters of torque. Now GTIs are also famed for the clever front diff, and this car also has that clever ELSD. Now it's an electronically controlled diff, but it's a mechanical diff nonetheless. So with all of that being said, let's actually jump behind the wheel and experience how this thing drives. So guys, you joined me inside the Golf 8 GTI, and I'm just going to drive spiritedly because when it comes to daily driving comfort, it's good. So what I really want to know is it actually as capable as something like the Hyundai I30N? I mean, when it comes to power, it's not as powerful. And also take note, the roads I'm driving in, it's just highways and whatnot, so we don't really have twists and turns like the circles where we normally drive the I30N, but I'll see what to do. Downshift. So we're currently stopped at a traffic light. I think I'll use this opportunity to try launch control. Go into ESC Sport. Gearbox is already in Sport. And next to me is a Polo GTI. So let's see how. I'm faster than a Polo GTI. So we just answered something. Is it faster than the new Polo GTI? Definitely. Unfortunately, you guys couldn't see that, but it is quicker. Wow. Woo! Once it gets going, it really goes. Just show the Polo GTI that side. But so I guess we'll try maybe a bit of a rolling race. So let's see, let's go. So this thing is definitely quicker than the Polo GTI, because often we tend to think maybe the Polo is just as quick, but no, once you get going, this thing just grabs it. And yeah, you can have fun in this thing. Like most new cars, the sound is quite muted, so I would recommend, say, a downpipe, just a simple regular downpipe. You don't even have to go decat or whatnot, just maybe a bigger custom downpipe, and it'll open up this thing a bit more. It's fun, it's dailyable, it's comfortable, it's certainly fast. But I'm sure on video you can't even hear the DSG pops because it's really muted inside there. I'll downshift. Second gear, foot flat. Oh. It is quick. Oh man, it flies. And I don't really want to say around corners it feels more composed than the Polo GTI, because where I drove the Polo GTI, there was some really twisty traffic circles with a bit of humps and stuff. I'm pretty sure the car overall is a lot more composed. It's bigger, it's more refined, it's probably set up a lot better on the Polo GTI, but it isn't all too far off from that car. Oh, that exhaust on the outside. Oh, once it's warm, it starts popping like crazy. Second gear. I so wish we were on a proper twisty road. I think I need to drive this thing on Magoverskloof Pass. I think that's where this car will be done justice and we'll be able to make a proper conclusion on what it's like. But compared to the I30N, it's not as hardcore. That's for certain. And I think the braking performance on the I30N is just a little bit better. The way it's sharp around corners is just, yeah, it's set up a lot more aggressive than this car is. But the charm with this is you can push a few buttons. You can go into D, you can go on the drive select, you go into comfort, and it feels like any other regular Golf. It doesn't feel like a GTI anymore. It's chilled, it's cozy, it's very quiet in here, close to no tire noise, and that's the charm of the GTI, the double personality that it has. One moment it can be a bit of a lunatic, at the other moment it can be very docile and neat. So yeah, I think I'll conclude it right here. I still have a lot more to say. Remember, I'm doing a back-to-back comparison with the Polo GTI, so that's the video I'm gonna shoot next. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, that's cheers.